Ladies and gentlemen, members of the diplomatic corps, comrades and friends, 75 years gives one the license to do things which younger people cannot do. So I intend, speaking frankly, to all of you who have spared no time and trouble to come and join me and my colleagues tonight. I have received goodwill messages from inside and outside the country. And they have made me forget about some of the shattering experiences that I have had. There were days when I doubted if I would see another day, let alone another birthday. Moments of intense isolation, when I was sustained by the ability of the human body and spirit to adjust, inspired by resistance to pain, deprivation, anguish experienced by millions of our people throughout the country. But I could not let them down. Every day behind bars was a battle for dignity, a battle to confer on our jailers a measure of humanity. Days when a little gesture was a rain of sunlight, a smuggled newspaper, a Christmas hamper. These were things which, even in that situation, brought a bit of sunlight in our hearts. What shocked me when I came out was not so much the technical developments that have taken place in my absence over 30 years. Satellite communications, cordless telephones, things I could not understand and I can't operate. What shocked me most was the abject poverty, which was far more worse than when I went to prison 30 years ago. Ours is a good country. It is for us to turn it into a country where all its people can be happy. But the killing must stop. The devastation, the destruction of so many lives must come to an end. It is the task of all political parties, without exception. It is the task of all individuals, whoever they are, to help to create a situation so that those who want to come to power on the corpses of innocent people should be unable to carry out those evil purposes. We must find a way forward. And that way forward is to sit down, all of us, to sort out our difficulties peacefully and to help to bring the South Africa of our dreams. The way this negotiation started has got some interesting aspects. I was transferred from Robben Island in 1982 to Pollsmoor Prison on the mainland. There I was with 4 of my colleagues who are here tonight. Then in 1984, I was separated from my colleagues. And one question, one thought crossed my mind. Why are they separating me from my colleagues? When I asked the commanding officer, he says, well, we have got instructions from Pretoria. There are no reasons that have been given. We were just told that from now on you must be separated. I thought I was not going to allow them to escape. I thought I should turn that isolation into advantage. I should approach the government to sit down with us, with the National Executive Committee of the ANC, to discuss peace. But I had a powerful, independent comrades, men of ability, sometimes whose argument I cannot parry. I was convinced from the climate that existed that if I place this idea before them, they would reject it completely, because the hostility in the liberation movement was so strong started to think in terms of bringing the national executive of the ANC with the National Party was something unthinkable, in spite of the fact that throughout we had made it clear that we were for peace. We had taken up arms because we had no alternative. I thought if I discussed the matter with them, they would overrule me. And if they did, I would be bound to obey. So I thought I should confront them with a fait accompli. I was putting my political career on the line because I was staying alone and I had very little contact with them. I then went and saw Kobe Kutsia. And I said, I want to see P.W. Botha because I want the ANC and the government to sit down to sort out our problems peacefully. He asked me a lot of questions. We met several times to discuss the question. And he eventually said to me, I'm going to make sure that you see the state president, but you must keep this secret, a secret. I said, no, I have no secrets. Confidentiality, yes, but I have no secrets. Very well. Then I asked the prison authorities, let me see my 4 colleagues in Pilsner. They eventually agreed, but they said, we don't want you to see them all together. We want you to see them one by one. I called the most senior, the present deputy president, because I knew that if I convinced him, then we could face the rest. I spoke to the deputy president, a man of enormous experience and wisdom. But this was too much for him. And he says, well, in principle, I'm not against talking to these chaps. But I would prefer them to start, not us. So I said, if you're not against us meeting them, it doesn't matter who starts. Then next I called Comrade Raymond Mhlaba, he's here, a member of the Central Committee of the party. I put the matter to him. His response was immediate. What were you waiting for all this time? You should have taken this initiative long ago. I called Andrew Mlangeni, he is also here. I put the same proposal. His response was precisely the same. Then I called my friend, Comrade Kathy Kathrada, a very brilliant and stimulating comrade. We were on different wavelengths. We did not even come near to each other. I then wrote to Comrade O.R. He then responded in a short note. Nell, what are you discussing with these chaps? Precisely what? I was equally brief. I am discussing one issue, and one issue alone. A meeting between the ANC and the government, full stop. I had confidence in my colleagues that when they sit down to examine the matter, they will agree that this is a necessary step. And indeed, I got their blessings, and they said, continue. We have gone a long way Many of our people now and many political parties are involved in negotiation. And all of them have made a valuable contribution. What then is the way forward? We have set the date for the first democratic elections in this country, when 19 million people will vote for the first time in their lives. The only thing that remains, which will enable us to lift sanctions, is the institution, the constitution of the Transitional Executive Council. That will pave the way to the lifting of sanctions and will lead to other international initiatives which we hope will benefit our economy. We carry deep scars which reflected the devastation caused by apartheid rule for decades. The healing process has not started. Our people, they want houses. They want jobs. Our children want school facilities. We want medical care. And these are things which constitute a challenge to all of us. Tonight is not just a celebration of a birthday, but also a glimpse of what the future, what democracy can mean to all of us. We want a non-racial society where people can run their own lives, where in every house there will be joy because people are leading worthy lives. We are celebrating the richness of our cultures. We want the South Africans, wherever they are, young and old, black and white, to accept South Africa as their country. Our commitment is naturally to the people who have been denied opportunities for centuries. And we want these evils addressed. That is our top priority as a liberation movement. But nevertheless, we are building a nation. We know the concerns and the fears which are experienced by the minority groups in this country. The question they are asking, when this transition comes, what is going to be my position? That of my wife, my husband, my children. What is going to happen to the values on which I have molded my life? What security do I have? What is going to happen to the privileges that we enjoy as a result of the fact that we have been a dominant population groups. That is what the whites will say. These are mistaken fears, because the African National Congress has a track record of wanting to build a nation to cater for the interests of all population groups in this country. We say South Africa belongs to all its people, black and white. We summarize our policy. We stand for a Bill of Rights, which sets out all the fundamental rights of citizens: the right of speech, the right to meet, to move about, the right of property, the right of religious worship. But that is not enough. We call for an impartial, non-racial, and non-sexist court which can defend the rights set out in that document, so that if any person, if his rights or her rights are threatened, he or she can seek relief in an independent court of law. We call for a multi-party system so that every political party, whether we like its views or not, should be able to canvass its point of view. We stand for regular elections. We stand for proportional representation, so that every political party which polls more than 5% of the votes will be invited to serve on the government. That is the organization which has this track record of thinking not only of blacks in this country, but of the total population. It is for that reason that we are appealing to that section of our community, the whites especially, not to desert us, not to leave South Africa at this critical moment. Thank you. We want to build this country together. I pledge that in whatever time remains to me, I will use all my strength to help bring about peace, democracy, justice for all in our country.